Georgia getting ready to be a gigantic favorite over Missouri. Lots of questions on it's just a strange Monday in the SEC. But Ryan Curley knows what I'm talking about. So Dan Mullen's got a meltdown down there in Florida, but at Georgia, there's still plenty of stuff going on with the Dogs. Number one rated Georgia Bulldogs will have Tuesday night to figure out, Ryan, what's going on with the college football playoff rankings. But Georgia's going to have to play a lot of games still. They got 5 games, 4 games, whatever it is left. And who's going to be the quarterback is a big question. But anyway, Ryan, a lot of guys running around out there. You got George Pickens running around out there. But, let's just do the quarterback thing.
So last week during our open period, JT was getting the first team reps.
Right.
This week it was Stetson. And so, I don't know if that's cryptic and Kirby's trying to tell us something or if it means nothing.
That might be the funniest thing you've ever said.
Maybe
that might
he wants us to use some sort of method. So my inference is that maybe JT's starting this time. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just. How did they? Yeah, go ahead.
They were practicing a zone read, a read option, and Stetson was taking off with the ball. JT was not. It's interesting some of the things they show us, but we got to see them throw a little bit. That they're all throwing at the same time, so that wasn't really anyone's first or second. Throwing at Pickens, beautiful one-handed catch, and difference with Pickens this week. He's still in the black non-conference jersey. 2 differences I noticed. So he was wearing a sleeve and what looked like to be a smaller brace than the last few times. So getting a little bit closer. The brace looked a little bit smaller, like less complex. And then the second thing was, I don't know the exact term for them, but they have those like cushion shields or whatever for contact to kind of just hit you with. They were hitting him with those now with the ball in his hand. So that's an improvement from what we've seen. I don't know what they do when they kick us out, but that's an improvement from what we've seen. He's taken some sort of.
Yeah, that's when they bring the unicorns and fairies in, is when y'all get dismissed. Look, it seems to me like they're getting George ready to go. The question is when. And in a perfect world, you'd like him to be out there. I mean, this is not going to happen. He's not going to play. I doubt he's going to play against Missouri. I think the biggest thing is, can you play him against Tech? That would be a really good scenario, because then, a week later, you're going to have a much larger situation. You would love to play him against Tennessee, if you could, just for, dealing with those type of guys with body parts that are, elongated and really good players. I wouldn't want to start with Charles Southern, but it doesn't matter. Whatever can get George out there.
Yeah, I think as long as it's before the SEC championship, that's a positive.
Yeah, I don't think it would be ideal to roll out there in the SEC championship game against A&M, Auburn, or Alabama and expect him to really be close to his peak. But that's me.
He looked good though. I mean, he looks good. He looks a little bit better every time. I think, my guess is that the reason he's not out there now is more of a caution. But as far as limitations, it doesn't really look like he has any. I mean, he's running just as fast as the other guys. He looks just as able, as far as side to side speed goes. He was running routes beautifully, really crisp. It wasn't against anybody, but you could see that he's going through the motions as you fix your backdrop there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on back here. We got
that's the first time I've seen it do that.
So many sponsors to choose from. No, I think for George, getting back out there is going to be ideal. The question is when. There's a lot more than just this season on the line for George Pickens. This is a generational wealth opportunity for him and his family, so that has to be taken seriously. And how you balance playing versus not playing. I mean, there's a risk in not playing, just like there's a risk in playing. So every day, you got to deal with that.
As far as the financial risk goes, if he comes in and plays really well for what could be,
I don't know, 4 games,
a maximum of 6 games, but probably more like somewhere between 2 and 4. He jumps back up there into that potential first rounder, second rounder conversation, and that's a lot more guaranteed money for him in the future.
I don't disclose.
But I don't know. I
don't want to disclose who I talked to in and around the program, obviously. But I was having that conversation with somebody, not about George, but about a player who could leave early. And my only thing is, I said I don't know enough about it, but there's a big difference between $8 million guaranteed and $24 million guaranteed. And that's the difference between a non-first round and a first round. And I don't mean specifically that's the difference, but if you can go in the first round, you know, there's a lot of there's more money guaranteed. Now you don't get to your second contract quicker, but there's a lot more guaranteed money, and bird in the hand. So I think
Yeah,
I'm listen. George has grown up, and I don't know if he's all the way grown up or not, but I am pulling for George. He's happy-go-lucky often, and I think it would
he
be
was
good for.
today.
Yeah, well,
He was he
that's
was in a good mood
he's
today,
that
man.
way,
Dancing around. Yeah,
he needed to mature, and he probably we all do, but George does too. And this is a critical moment for George Pickens, and um, I am just hopeful that the guy. I mean, it's a lot of work. This is manual labor, and now he's doing a lot of manual labor for not a lot of payoff or any payoff. So the the money is coming at some stage. The question is how much and how do you maximize this and all this other stuff. I don't want to over talk, Ryan. You were there at practice.
I don't know how much NIL kind of plays into that now. I think that kind of changes
Yeah,
it a
it
little bit.
could.
People can stay and still make money. Not as
Yeah, it's a
much
very good
probably,
point.
but
No, maybe not.
I
Maybe
mean, I
not
know
eight.
I don't know the details of what deals he has. So, but there's
That's a
going to be
good
a lot
point
of
too.
factors. It's not just a matter of if he played or didn't this year. There's going to be other stuff that goes into it. Blaylock contact jersey looked normal, looked good, as opposed to not even being there a week ago.
Well, I
So that
think
was
now I don't,
interesting.
of course, don't know, but not being there could be
I mean,
probably
yeah,
to me is therapy. So that's to
yeah,
me not a
that's
huge
probably what it
deal.
is.
Yeah, are you talking
No,
about
but
a
he wasn't.
hamstring?
Yeah, that was the hamstring, and
Yeah,
Kirby even said earlier today that he's a lot closer this week than he was last week. So, I mean, I
yeah.
think he'll
A
dress out,
hamstring
really
takes
get in there. I
time.
don't know.
A hamstring takes time. You're talking about an elongated muscle. You're talking about stuff that you just can't go out there. I mean, you need to roll it out. There's all sorts of stuff. So a hamstring, I think, is a different situation than whatever. I mean, so it would be good to see Dom back out there at some stage playing. I mean, he's a very good receiver. We're talking about two guys that well, one of them JT's played with, but it's the last player that had both these guys was Jake Fromm. Jake Fromm, like in the Texas A&M game. Like it's been a long time.
Which game did Dom get hurt in that first year?
The LSU game. Dominic Sanders, Dominic Blaylock scored against Auburn, the Gators, and Tech. That freshman year. That's pretty good. And I just again, these guys, this is manual labor. We can talk all we want to about, I hear people that are total idiots talking about pampered athletes. They're doing manual labor. What are you talking about? Pampered?
They're
I
risking
mean, do
their
you
bodies
lift
every day, man.
weights? I don't anymore,
Are you
thank
getting
God.
tackled? Are you getting
Man, are you
tackled by
getting thrown
140
to the ground?
pound muscular freaks, man?
No, I mean, only on the weekends, right? I mean, like, so
Although,
when I tackle Matt, I
you
don't think
risking
that
brain injury? You say you tackled
only when I
Matt?
have to listen to Matt, right? Kidding. Um, we can do this because
I don't think
they're
he's gonna watch this.
they're a 40-point favorite over Mizzou, and it's good. I think this is a great opportunity.
Was it 40? Did it jump up to
It's
40?
almost
Or
it's
were you
almost
just
well, I
the
mean
last, or
rounding
were you around?
numbers at this point, man. It's like the federal budget at this stage.
Uh,
It's so big you can't tell how to. What's the?
uh,
You may
the
as well
last time
round
I
it.
saw it, the last time I saw it was 37 and a half.
Yeah, well, it was up after that. I mean, you talk about the intricacies of the game. The dog post has got you to the decimal point here. Yeah, you can get it at 38, 37 and a half. I would almost take them, man. I mean, Missouri can't stop the run. This defense, third string, ain't gonna be allowing more than a touchdown. I mean, Georgia's gonna score 50. Am I wrong?
I don't think you're wrong. How much better would you say would Stetson Bennett put up 56 against UAB roughly?
I think
How much
UAB
better?
would
How much?
probably beat Mizzou, or they'd be
Yeah.
close.
So I think they could go put up a 60 piece again maybe. I don't
Yeah,
think that
and
that's out of the realm of possibility.
no, and I,
But are we seeing Stetson and JT? I think so. I don't know.
oh,
I
I
don't.
think you'd better. I mean, I don't.
I think
I
you
think
have to.
if you didn't play him against Florida, I think that's one thing for sure. But you know, yeah, UAB lost to Rice. That's a tough one right there. But because they'd had a pretty good season outside of that. Um, I think you do see JT this week. I mean, I think you're talking about 6 weeks of dealing with again a muscle strain as it's been described to us. So that needs time. I mean, when I talk to my friends in that world, they say it's basically sounds like a baseball injury. It's a lot of baseball guys deal with that. Saw how your Braves lost last night. Man, that was kind of tough. We can't talk about that.
No, I'm probably not as heartbroken as Matt is right now.
Whew. But
That must have been a scene wherever he was.
his poor
That
dogs.
was tough, man. That was tough.
That loss.
We don't have to talk about that. Yeah, that was.
I just
When you
think
start like that and then lose like that, it felt Atlanta to
and
me.
it didn't add. He didn't add any. I mean, had the one
No,
single
yeah,
digit
no,
homer, but
you didn't. You didn't. Your momentum took you nowhere. So,
right, yeah. Same. Dan Mullen knows about that. Um, I
do
just to
you want to
me,
talk about that?
well, I just did a whole thing, so we
Did
can
you? I figured you were going.
we can do it too. Well, go ahead. Give me your spiel there. I mean,
The funniest
you're in the
part.
Dean Legge school of
That's,
of this thing, so you can't stray too far from where I am at.
uh, man, the two funniest parts to me was the next question when
I didn't
when
think that was horrible.
the guy was gonna change his question
Yeah.
because he knew that, and then he was like, next question. So he was done with that guy, whoever that goober was, and then
I
not that
can't
I have
wait for
no idea
someone to
who it
call
was.
you a goober. Except these
So
comments down here
people
every
do call
time.
me that, man.
Yeah,
The guy's probably good. I don't know,
yeah,
but and then they canceled the media availability, kind of like the
yeah.
way that
Okay.
they
Yeah,
canceled it with Lincoln Riley a few weeks ago.
yeah.
You're trying to
Mistake.
hide stuff, man.
Yeah,
No, that makes it look
it's a
worse.
left-footed mistake. It's not it's dribbling it off your foot. It's just not smart. I mean, why? For what? So it can become a bigger story. So Paul can talk about it for four
Is he
hours
talking
now.
about it right now?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's wearing them out. And I mean, like he's not wearing them out, but he's just letting people on there. You listen, look. I got a little bit of frustration with Florida's athletic department after this weekend. Just a little bit, not crazy, but whether I did or not, you cannot allow this to happen. The guy works for y'all. You don't work for him. The school needs to say to him, "Hey, listen, no, we're putting this down, and we're putting this down pretty quick here. You're going to go back out and talk to reporters sometime this week." The thing about it is, from my reading of Florida, is it's Mullen is only on Mondays anyway. So canceling all this other stuff,
Okay.
I don't know what you did. It just doesn't seem. I mean, what is Todd going to say? So I mean, it's just like, hey, look, we lost. Now we don't like what the narrative is. We're not going to talk. No, talk. Change the narrative. You're going to play in 5 days. What's the big deal? The worst that could have happened has already happened. Just roll it on out. Beat the
Well, the
Seminoles.
worst thing is that he's telling the truth. He's not recruiting, or he's not
Yeah.
doing a good job at it. I don't know how often he goes out there, but how do you, especially after the comments at the end of the game, you just made it worse with that, man. What are you thinking?
That's the best statement that you've had in our entire time together. He told the truth. He did. And we got to get Kirby to tell us the truth. Like where are we at really with these quarterbacks, man?
I don't know. I mean, he's just leaving it up for inferring, man. I
But
mean,
like without getting too far into details, now let's not give away the story here, okay? Hold on now. See where I'm going. It was
okay,
our understanding. There went your light. It was our understanding at Dog Post that Stetson had a better week last week than JT, right? That was our understanding. Okay. If that's true, then I think it's very possible that we could see a lot more of JT this week because I do think that this is in the middle of October. Kirby was talking about, hey, we need we had continuity with Stetson. Stetson's playing well, and JT's hurt, and then he's not hurt, like the pain talking about. That was 3 weeks ago or whenever we talked to Aaron Murray. Now, after the Florida game, he said, "Well, yeah, we didn't play great, but it was a continuity thing." I think this is competition to see who's moving forward. I think Stetson's going to have to hold on to this
I
job
think it
if he
is a
can.
quarterback competition at
Yeah, I
this
think so
point.
too. I don't know if it's a controversy. A controversy is when you got a guy not playing well, and I think Stetson's played not well in one game, and I'm not sure how not
Yeah.
well he played.
I mean,
Um,
he made a few really good plays.
oh my
Outside of
gosh, I agree.
there was a couple bad ones. The throw to Kieris was really good, and
Yep,
then
the
the plays
runs.
he made with
Yep.
his legs were
Oh,
stuff
the
that
play
JT's not going to give you.
the play and JT can do this too, but the play to Brock Bowers was pretty impressive actually. I mean, that screen that went for a long run. I mean, I've only now seen it on TV. When you watch it live, it's harder to see with quarterback play. But I think they have
It's easier to
got
analyze it from TV,
no question, no
watching it from that
question.
screen.
I think they got two guys. I do, earlier today, and I talked about this later in the week. Greg McElroy, or I talked about this earlier today. Greg McElroy saying, "Hey, JT gives them, their best opportunity to be a good offense." I don't look. JT's more gifted as a thrower, but and we do this every single week. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but Stetson's a really good. They can win the national championship with Stetson Bennett as their quarterback. Period. And the question is, which one gives you the best chance to win as a quarterback? And it's up to Kirby and them. I don't
It
think
is up to Kirby and them, but if it's up to me, it's JT Daniels. We've
I don't
seen it,
think
man.
let me just say I don't think Stetson's played so well in the time that he has been the starting quarterback that you don't look back at JT. Just the way that I don't think necessarily that JT played so well that you that it was impossible for someone else to start. I do think in his play, JT had the offense has been more explosive, but they were pretty damn explosive at times with Stetson too. Just not far. They just didn't play well, man. I know we're getting up to our time limit here, but they didn't play well offensively against the guy. I thought the Gators played pretty well defensively, and Georgia, they don't want to play like that in the future, man. That's not going to work.
Look, I just at the bottom line is this game against Missouri. If you're gonna play them both, this is the perfect game to do it. Let them both get in there, kind of like the way they did it with UAB, where they had a certain kind of laid out schedule for Carson Beck and Stetson Bennett to come in there and do 2-2-1 or something like that. Do that Saturday, and you'll make me pleased. I don't. You'll probably make a lot of people pleased doing that. I don't care who you start. I think they both need to play, and this is the perfect game to do that. And then make your decision from there. After that, you need to just have your guy, whoever it is. You need to come out and say who your guy is, so
Oh,
everyone can
that's not
stop
happening.
chirping about it.
No, it's not going to happen. But
You
but
want
let
all
me
this
just really
negative attention
well. All
around.
right, now hold on.
That's how
Now
you
hold on.
end
Hold on.
it.
The difference between Georgia handling this right now and Florida is pretty significant. Kirby and them are addressing it and containing it. Florida is now not addressing it at all, and it's exploding. Public relations. This is very simple, man. And there's a
Does
lot
not
of
want to work
people.
for their PR right now.
Well, I mean, there's people. That's a major research institution that has a very large athletic department, one of the most recognizable brands in college sport. Not
Yeah.
a smart move. Not a smart move. All right, we'll see you over the website for Ryan's notes. Click them, they're down below.